YouTube, what's up? Another edition of Lambo Talk on a random parking garage in Scottsdale. Coming to you live. We're just going to keep them rolling. I want to talk about today, again, something that I'm experiencing in my business, in my life. Something I've realized, I've known, but you forget it sometimes. You have to remind yourself, either from experiences forcing you to realign with the principle, or someone telling you, hey, you should realign with this. And that is the attachment to outcome. When you're attached to any certain outcome, or you have an expectation of the way something is, you, in a lot of ways it's good, right? You need to have goals, you need to have a commitment to a certain process, a commitment to an outcome, and a dedication to get there. But on the flip side, it can be the origin of an immense amount of unhappiness and sadness, chaos. And so what's important in business and in life, and if you're moving towards a goal, is to, like we said last week, have adaptability to a situation and to be okay if something doesn't happen the way you want it to, because then your locus of control, your happiness is with you. It's not with the outcome, it's not with the expectation, it's with yourself. And no one can take that away from you. So a good example is, we talked about the attachment to outcome. Now, when someone in business is attached to an outcome, it doesn't happen their way. What often results is emotionality, which as a leader, when you're emotional and everyone around you sees it, and you're the one who doesn't know what you're doing, no one's gonna look to you for the answers. Even if you don't have the answers, it's important that you show that I'm gonna figure it out. Because if you're not figuring it out, now everyone else has to stress. So now the whole group, your clients, your family members, your loved ones, if they know that you're not leading, then they have to take that burden on. And then are you truly the CEO, right? The executive, the chief executive officer? Are you really, the father or the husband or the partner in a business partnership, a personal relationship? Because if you want people to view you that way, you have to live it and you have to act it. And it's not easy all the time, especially in business. If you are responding emotionally to everything your client says or everything they have an issue with, and you are engaging with them at that level of emotionality and consequence and woe is me and victimhood, it's not your job, first of all, to tell them they need to change because they're your client. Okay, it's your job to take in the information and very relaxed give the solution, deliver the solution, and have poise with what you're saying. So that's something that I was not good at a while ago. I still struggle with it, but as things happen in my life, it tests me. And now I remember, this is what we were talking about in the car. If you hate something and you feel yourself, I hate this, or I don't like this is uncomfortable, well, that's a telltale sign that there's something about you that needs to change. Potentially. Some things you may not have tolerance for, but if there's something that is taking your happiness, you got to fix that. Otherwise, you're just going to end up in the same cycles where you're always reacting to the situation. You're always reacting to the success or the failure. And this is what they focus on in the Buddhist faith, is the middle way of you're not too excited and you're not unhappy. You are stoic in your responses and you're not unemotional. You're empathetic. You're not a robot. But you don't allow your emotional response initially to dictate how you behave, because that shit infects everything around you. And then you're not the leader. You're not the person you want to be. Not everyone has to be a leader. You may not want to be a leader. But if you're watching this content and you're inspired to become that, and you have to hold yourself to that standard. And that's what this channel is about. It's about that standard. It's not for everyone, but you have to be able to stand for those values. And you're not going to be perfect all the time. Like I was saying in the last video, this past weekend threw a wrench in a lot of things. I got too fucked up. Yeah, that happens. And for people going out, you know what that feels like when you do something you regret and you don't remember it. It happened to me. But how do you respond to that? Right? And what do you take from it? What do you learn from it? And in business, the same stuff's going to happen. We had a deal. We had a lender who was going to give us 90% of the purchase price on a deal we're doing. And they backed out randomly 45 days before closing. And so we're figuring out the next lender. And you have to adapt. You can't spend time wallowing and bitching. You have to put your big boy pants on and figure it out. Otherwise, you're not going to get what you want. No one's going to put you on. You have to work to get it. Because it's also the most fun. You go through the most growth. So going back to the hate comment of like, if you don't like something, that's a sign, or if you fear something, that's a sign that that's exactly what you should do. That's exactly what you should grow from. So wrapping up, I know I covered a lot of different topics. Again, the goal is not to give you some prettied up response here. It's to share with you what I'm feeling and what I've experienced as genuine as possible, authentic as possible. So to wrap it all up, I mean, there's a couple things. We can make videos out of all these later, but we first talked about attachment to outcome and how that leads to emotional reactions that are not in line with who we want to be or the type of business and life we want to run, create. And then we also talked about doing things that you don't enjoy, because those often contain all the growth that is waiting for you if you open up the door and push through that fear, push through that hate, that anger, the annoyance. And that's all in the spirit as well of not complaining. If you want to be a leader, you have to not complain. You can't be the one that's responding that way. Let other people do that. But it's your job as the person who wants to be the executive, be the entrepreneur, be the person driving. It's your job to figure it out. You don't have to know it all the time, but you have to know that you're going to figure it out. And people follow you for that, and they respect you for that. And that's, in my experience, I have a long ways to go, but in my experience, that is how money is made. Is when you're delivering value and you're sure of yourself and you're confident in what you're doing and what you can provide, and you're confident in what you cannot provide, and you're executing, delivering that, and you're leading that consultation, you're leading that business. So, hell yeah, Lambo talk number 3. There's no rhyme or reason. I pick Brady up. We come out here and just enjoy the sun. Scottsdale's beautiful. If you're ever down here, let me know, and we're gonna keep it moving. If there's any ideas you guys have, things you want to learn about, topics, I'm all ears. Put it in the comment section. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Peace, love. See ya.